Hey YouTube, did you like that intro? I thought you would. Flame of the Fell God combined with Stormcaller. Turns out you can set out Flame of the Fell God in the air and like a trap ensnare somebody in Stormcaller and hold them in place until that Flame of the Fell God, that little Jupiter sunny planet there, just explodes right in their faces. And it does excellent damage even at level 81. It's a bit tough to set up, but the reward is oh so wonderful. If you were hoping for a deeper dive into the build and its nitty-gritty details, I have another Flamehand Moira video for you that you can check out and get all the details. All I've really done is add a couple more straight swords to the kit, as well as change up the Ashes of War on the spears. And thanks to patch 110, the spears are actually fun to use. They can stun people. The short spear in particular has a nice double hit R2 that will stun people for the first jab, holding them long enough for the second jab. Whereas before, they could simply roll out of the first jab, rendering the second jab useless. Flame of the Fell God is a rather expensive spell, not just in mana consumption, but also in that it takes up 2 of your spell slots. 2 spell slots you could use for perhaps a little more versatile spells like Burn O Flame or Chaos Storm as you might know it as, and also Fire's Deadly Sin, 2 spells that I love to have that you have to give up. Honest Fire's Deadly Sin, don't you fret. While the Flame of the Fell God offers a great range of utility if your brain is big enough, it can be kind of difficult to set it up with Stormcaller, but doing so will almost invariably deal 90% or more of your target foe's HP pool. At least at level 80 I found that to be true, and I have a feeling that at higher levels where you have more faith and higher upgraded talismans for casting, that will only prove to be more true. You know what else I learned during this particular encounter? R2s. You can just keep holding people in place if they just won't leave you alone. It's a pretty great tool, especially if they are doggone determined to use their Ash of War on you at point blank, because normally they always succeed with it. And I've come to the realization a lot of people don't know what to do against a single spear. It's in a strange category in terms of how much poise damage it does, as well as its range. People didn't use honest single spears, really. You'd see the spear in duos, where people are using 2 of them or what have you, as well as with a shield for shield poking. But just a spear in the offhand and whatever in the left hand, I feel like this is an avenue of thought that will require much more examination. Did you see that? Did you see that big damage? I know that's the clip I showed in the intro, but still, he didn't see it coming, and I think these next few spells, including the last one, just colored his whole perception of the fight dramatically. To be fair, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes either. I don't know how to fight a single spear. Heck, I barely know how to use the darn thing. But the level of protection you get from a Flame of the Fell God, people just back off. It gives you time to reset. It's a very good get off of me tool. Is it the best? No, there are some you might need that are indeed faster, such as Black Flame Tornado. Black Flame Tornado might be a little better, or even Stormcaller if you need it to come out real fast. But still, my goodness, I have not played on this Pyro build in a while, and it shows. But at the same time, Catch Flame stumbles people. I don't know if it's one of the spells that got more poise damage when they had dropped patch 110, or if this fellow just has so little poise it does not matter. But still, the damage output is incredible, and it's a lot of fun to play with. I was debating whether or not I would make this video a whole compilation of Flame of the Fell God comboed into Stormcaller, and I found it was kind of difficult to set up the combo, even though it is quite effective when you do happen to get it set up. I have a feeling it will work a tad better in duels, where people are more likely to be aggressive and try to run you down as fast as possible. In an invasion environment, the host and his lackeys aren't always so willing to be aggressive, especially to time it. Did you see that? Oh my goodness, I should have been talking about that. That charged R2. My goodness, that was tasty. I like the charged R2 on the silly short spear. I want to find more opportunities for it. It's a shame it's a short spear. I need to go through the spears and find out if any of the other spears have that double poke attack. I should probably look into what other weapons have double poke attacks, you know, or double attacks for their R2. They might be a lot better thanks to patch 110. I know the short spear has a double poke, and Rogier's Rapier, especially if combined with Storm Stomp, has a really mean combo string you can do with heavies, lights, and Storm Stomps. And I think the Stormhawk Talon is a straight sword that has a double hit, so I need to look around for more. Oh, the Urd Steel Dagger. That's another one that has a double hit. I don't know how effective that'll be. I'm pretty certain daggers didn't change too much in the most recent patch, but I digress. Double hit R2s. Maybe they'll be the next big thing. Who knows? I definitely need to do more playing around and experimenting. And that's going to take me deleting some characters, I think. Because a lot of them I like the way they're set up. And I'm comfortable with the way they're set up. And that's not going to help me find the changes and to be creative. Just staying where I am in my own lane is not going to do that. So that is a mental block I'll need to get past, and I will. I'll delete a few characters. Thanks to these videos, though, I have great documentation for how the build functions and needs for the most part, and so if I ever need to revert or duplicate something I had once and make changes, well, YouTube is now my archive of sorts. An archive more permanent than any hard drive I have presently. This fella who's on screen was a little bit of a parry meister. I'd fought him once before and he dunked on me pretty hard. It was a really short clip, so I didn't bother to include it because I fell for an easy parry. That is the one catch of spears. The running attacks, you want to use the running attacks, and the running attacks will get you punished for certain. And this guy seemed to be looking out for the setup parries that exist in this game. That I knew about the setup parries a bit in Dark Souls 3, and I am now just learning about them here in Elden Ring. I did some research. I ranted about that in a previous video. I've done some research. I may need to do a video on it. Maybe I need to practice a whole bunch. I keep telling you how I need to practice, and I've been bad, that's for certain. But he was a bit of a parry meister, and he was going for those easy parries, you know. Hit somebody, parry at a hit stun, you know. You get hit, parry at a hit stun. You know, force a situation where somebody rolls, parry them out of their roll, stuff like that. Hit somebody's shield where it plinks, and then immediately parry their counter poke. That's a thing you can do. Or you can, if you are confident in your shield, block their attack and immediately parry their next attack. And depending on the class of weapon, the timing will vary a little, and it's all very latency dependent. Here's another tidbit you may not have known. Flame of the Fell God, you know, you send it out and it explodes after a brief duration, right? But if you use it immediately against a wall, it will detonate early, which can be phenomenal for damage. It's a utility that the spell has. Look, we catch this guy in the corner, and the Flame of the Fell God explodes immediately upon hitting the wall. Sure, we get fog-walled, but we learn an important piece of information that is very, very helpful to know. I'm not very good with this incantation. I kind of want my two other spells back in some capacities, but playing with new spells, I think, is one way to keep the game alive and to revitalize a character that you've already played a handful of times and gotten the feel of, and, you know, keeping things new and exciting is, well, it's new and exciting. Why wouldn't you want a good part of that tasty pie? You know what else is delicious? The capacity to put Stormcaller on a short spear with the smallest requirements and have it be quite effective. I don't know if you can put Stormcaller on a straight sword. I really should have checked before I released the video, but I did not. And that might also be a viable option if it holds as well as the spear does. You can also put Black Flame Tornado on a simple spear, so even on the most lightweight of builds with the slowest of dex and strength requirements, you too can have the great area effect abilities. And watch this. This guy's just walking, strafing, and then suddenly huge damage catch-up. The packet that we lost was found and rocketed into my face, but that's fine. We technically won. I am so terribly curious to know what he saw on his end, though. But here we have another moment where we're stuck in a hallway with our big old AoE spells, and let me say we are in our element. They can't run too much. There's nowhere for them to go except for past me, and I can just leave a Flame of the Fell God, and it leaves a fire trail on the ground. And I don't know if it's just because we're playing in the level 80 bracket and everybody has relatively low poise, but the flames on the ground stumble people. I don't remember them doing that. Here we go, Stormcaller again, and kablooey, that guy is gone. My goodness, that makes me happy to see. And do you see that tentative step almost backwards into the elevator shaft? I saw it last moment and caught myself. Thankfully, I was doing something that limited my movement speed, or I may have gone right off that cliff. That is a very me thing to do. I am very bad with cliffs and surroundings. I feel like I kill myself off cliffs a lot. Getting that tunnel vision you get when you're in a stressful situation, which is silly because it's a video game and I ought to be relaxed. There we go, offhand straight sword with the roll catch. Always have an offhand straight sword. And that seems to be a new up-and-coming thing I'm seeing crop up in the meta. People are using offhand daggers, straight swords, curved swords, and rapiers, I feel like, more often than they did before. Before they existed in this middle ground where you would use it if it comboed, and now people are just having them in their offhands because it's nice to have a speedy choice to roll catch people while you're chasing them, while you have them on the back foot and they are rolling frantically for their lives. And I understand it. I'm starting to, you know, come around to that direction. And I don't know if that will be the new meta. It seems too early to tell. But still, I like the idea of having offhand weapons. I guess part of me, you know, says, oh, that's rule of cool, you know, that's so cool, having a weapon in your offhand, having a weapon in both hands. Why wouldn't it be so cool? And then the medieval historian enthusiast in me is like, no, no, no. Practical. Be a knight, you know, use what's historically accurate in your fantasy RPG, and I am clearly divided on the matter. But no matter how many times I try to set up Flame of the Fell God, it seems that Giant's Flame Take Thee will always be there to bail me out of trouble. That seems to be the strongest thing I have in my kit. And I want to get to the point where I'm relying more on Catch Flame and O Flame more. Catch Flame because it's fast and it does good damage. You can use it while sprinting. And then O Flame because I want to set up combos. That sounds neat. I didn't do any of that in this video, unfortunately, but maybe in a future one. You ever get that sinking feeling when you know you're walking around in the biggest watery zone in the whole game and everyone's going to be more resistant to your damage? That's anything to do with fire. I feel that sinking feeling in my stomach every time I end up in a place like this. I feel bad for fire. I mean, it's cool that the environments have elemental effects like that, but it feels very one-sided. It makes lightning stronger and it makes fire weaker. I want an arid environment where things are just more flammable. Where's that? What if you're fighting in the fiery, next to the fiery pits of Mount Gelmir and fire damage does a little more? I don't know. Just spitball it. Maybe I'm just biased. I like the flame incantations and Ashes of War a lot more than I like the lightning flavored ones. And that's on me. That's a personal preference. It makes sense. I don't have to like it, but that's fine. Whatever. Who cares? And here I am at the edge of my rope trying to work against a double twin blade with my silly spear. And it worked out there. Catch Flame bailed me out of trouble. I don't feel like I earned that quite, but my goodness, this Catch Flame still do great damage even while we're rolling around in the moisture. While it wasn't a major feature of this video, I will probably feature it more prominently in a future video. I do adore how straight swords feel now. Straight swords feel better than ever, and I'm not talking about paired straight swords. They've always been good, right? Lacking in range, excelling in everything else, but I'm talking about the silly single straight sword, maybe even with a shield. It just feels good. The hit stun, you got the running attack and the light attack that can both stun people. You can combine it with Ashes of War that now stun people. Like Sword Dance is good again when it wasn't. It was good, it was bad, it's good again. It's exciting. I like it. I have so many different Ashes of War I need to play with straight swords. And there's just no end to the list of things I need to play with and explore. But hey, I'm excited to take the next step forward into this new era of Elden Ring where people are coming back and new things are being discovered. And I can't wait to produce some more content for you, give you some more ideas. I do need to come up with more lore-friendly characters. I keep saying that. I will do it. And I usually do follow up on these sorts of things. It's just a matter of time, you know, juggling a full-time job and playing the video game and, you know, doing the YouTube thing on the side as a hobby. Lots of fun. Here I am, fighting the Twin Blades guy again, and you know what? I feel like I'm doing well. I've got my awareness on, I know his tricks, I'm savvy, and look over there. Oh, the treacherous other red. That's okay, he gets exactly what he deserves. Thank you for joining me today, and have yourself a good one. Bye-bye.